Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get started here. All right, well, welcome. My name is Jeff Sloss. I'm the Controls Marketing Manager at Zoeller. Thank you for joining us for the Z-Control Cloud Webinar Part 2, Connecting and Configuring Devices and Accounts and some Troubleshooting. This is the second webinar in our series on the Z-Control Cloud. If you were unable to watch the first webinar, which was called Intro to Z-Control Cloud Technology, you can view the recording on ZoellerPumps.com. It's under the Training tab on the e-training page. There we also have some of our other past webinars you can watch and a calendar of upcoming webinars for which you can register. Please make note of the email address written at the bottom of your screen. Should you have any questions after we wrap up, you can send them to webinars@zoeller.com. and we will be sure to get back to you. I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Jeff Sloss. I've worked here at Zoeller for 7 years. I'm the product manager for controls and electronics. So our primary goals over the last few years has been to update and modernize the product lines. So we do hope that you've enjoyed seeing the new products in these areas. Today, we're going to cover, as we mentioned, some advanced topics of Z-Control. First, we're going to talk through how to connect devices to the cloud or to your router, and then how to add them to your account. After that, after we talk through it, we're going to walk through it live with a couple devices. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with a quick poll. Did you attend or watch the first Z-Control Cloud webinar? Got 3 choices there, so hopefully you can just take a couple seconds and click the appropriate answer. All right, well over half did attend the first webinar, and there's a bunch that haven't seen the first webinar, which, as we mentioned, is available on our website. Thank you for answering that. So just a quick one-page review here. What is Z-Control? It's anytime access to your pump equipment. Z-Control includes testing and diagnostics that can help you prevent property damage by getting early knowledge of high water alarms, component faults, and disconnections. You can also receive reminders for maintenance. Another reason to have Z-Control is notification via text, email, and app push, not just of faults, but like we mentioned above, the reminders, and then remote access and control. So when you log in, you're able to actually take control of your device. And all of that put together gives you real-time troubleshooting, which in the service industry is very valuable. Potentially saves service technician trips to remote sites. So we say not just convenience, confidence, which all adds up to peace of mind. There are 3 basic steps to connecting a device to Z-Control. Number 1, you're going to connect the Z-Control device to your router. And just to clear up one piece of terminology, when I say a Z-Control device, I'm referring to Aquanaut Fit, Aquanaut Active, a gateway, an APAC, maybe an LPS panel, the VFD from Flint Walling. These would all be Z-Control devices. Not all of those connect directly to the router. Some of them connect through a gateway to the router, and we'll cover that more in a second. Number 2, we're going to log in, or you're going to create your zcontrolcloud.com account. And then the third thing, and really some people forget this part, they've created their account and then they get their device online, but really the cloud, until you tell the cloud that, hey, that device that's now online belongs to me, the cloud has no way of knowing that that belongs in your account. So you choose the add new device to add it to your account, and we'll step through that in a moment. So these steps, all 3 of them, can be completed with your phone, your tablet, or a Wi-Fi equipped computer. Now, when I say it can be completed with your phone or your tablet, that doesn't mean the mobile app can complete those things. Currently, it cannot. We'll circle back to that in a second, but I don't want to create any confusion there. You can be on the web, the website or web app, but not the mobile app to do these things. All right, another poll. Next poll question: what's your exposure to connecting products to the Z-Control Cloud platform? I've never connected, I've tried but didn't finish, I've connected one, or I've connected many. So let's take a second there. We'll get the poll up for you here. All right, there's the poll. Go ahead and answer that. Okay, the vast majority of people have never connected a Z-Control product. We do have a fairly good number of people that have connected one or more. But that gives us good information. Thank you. All right, we're going to connect a Z-Control device to the router. This is the step one in that first page. There's two different types of Z-Control products that connect to routers. One would be products with built-in Wi-Fi. In other words, you don't need a gateway. The Wi-Fi is built into the unit. Right now, the only products that fit that category would be the Aquanaut Fit and the APAC, the indoor APAC. There'll be more, but right at this moment, just two products. And then the second category of products that connect to routers are products that require the Z-Control gateway for connectivity. So you're going to connect the product, the Z-Control device, to the gateway, and then the gateway connects to the router. And it can do that both by Wi-Fi or Ethernet. So this first step, connecting to the router using the built-in Wi-Fi. So this would apply again to the FIT and the APAC. First of all, you're going to make sure that the Z-Control LED is off. When the Z-Control LED is off, that means the APAC or FIT is broadcasting its network name. You take your phone, your tablet, or your laptop, and you go into the settings, and you choose Wi-Fi. See in the middle there, that little screenshot. That's a screenshot on my phone, and about almost halfway down that page, you'll see Wi-Fi. You touch that, and then that'll list the available Wi-Fi in your close proximity. One of those items being listed will be the network name of the FIT or the APAC. So you're going to choose that SSID, which is another name for network name. It'll be in the format ZCTL underscore, and then it'll say either FIT or APAC, and then another underscore, and then 4 digits that are the first 4 digits of the device ID. That'll be the name that it's broadcasting. So you select that name. When you do that, the Z-Control LED that's on the unit will start blinking. And then usually within just a couple seconds, the Z-Control captive page, or we've also called it a splash screen, that'll pop up on your screen. Now, if that page doesn't pop up on your screen, you can force it to pop up. And the way you do that is oftentimes, as soon as you open a browser, it'll pop up. If that isn't enough, open the browser and in the address bar, type that address right there, 192.168.125.1. That's a local page address for the captive screen or the splash screen. All right, so on the right there, that's what the splash screen looks like. That'll pop up on either your phone or your iPad or maybe your computer screen if you're using a computer. On my screen here, you can see that at the bottom, it's listing 3 different network names or SSIDs that were available when I took this screenshot. If you don't have anything listed down there, then it didn't automatically scan. So you just hit that Wi-Fi scan button, and then it'll populate down below the names of the networks that are available. You see the one you like, the FIT or the APAC to use, you touch that name, and it'll fill in where it says network name. Right now it says my network name, but it'll fill in the network name in that field, and then you'll type the passphrase in the next field. So passphrase just means your Wi-Fi. In other words, that's the password you would give to a guest that comes over to your house that's going to use your Wi-Fi. It's that password. When you type that password and hit connect, the device in your hand or the computer, whether it's your iPad, iPhone, or computer, will now lose connection to your Z-Control device. So what could in fact happen is you get a little error message might just be momentary, but you get a message that says you've lost connection. That's okay, because you have lost connection. Your device has now lost connection with the APAC or whatever it was you were connected to. So nothing bad happened there. That's just telling you it lost connection. And then most likely what will happen is your phone will then go and connect to whatever it was you were connected to before, probably the Wi-Fi at your house or wherever you're standing. So just a couple quick notes about networks. And this does hang people up on occasion. First of all, the network must be secure. An open network, in other words, a network you can get on with no password, is not allowed. Our units are designed not to work with open networks. They will also not show in this list on the captive screen a network that's a WEP network. WEP is a security, it's old-fashioned, it's easy to hack, it's not up to snuff these days for security standards, so we do not allow our products to connect to WEP networks. So if you have either of those two things, you have to resolve that before you can go any further. The other thing that can happen is routers broadcast their network name on two bands, and you may recognize the term dual band router. So if you have a dual band router, it's going to broadcast a 2.4 signal and a 5 gigahertz signal. Sometimes the router is only broadcasting a 5 gigahertz signal. If that's the case, and I haven't seen it real often, but it does happen on occasion, on the router, you want to select that the router broadcasts both. Our products and most products that connect this way to the cloud, most IoT products, do require a 2.4 gigahertz band. Okay, step 2, log in or create an account at zcontrolcloud.com. This is pretty self-explanatory. You just click the account button at zcontrolcloud.com and you fill out that form. It's going to walk you through name, address, that kind of thing. When you get to the password section, where you're creating a password for your zControl Cloud account, it has to be 8 characters or more, and you have to have one or more of a capital letter, small letter, number, and a special character. So as long as you got one of each of those 4 and it's 8 characters long, you'll be good. Step 3, you're logged into your account now, and you click the edit button, which is next to the location you want the device to reside. And when you hit that edit button, you get a little cascading menu, and you select add new device. As soon as you select add new device, the cloud is going to give you one of 2 options. It's going to give you a manual or an auto option. If it gives you the auto option, it means that you're probably using the same Wi-Fi that you want the device to use or that the device is using. Auto makes it easier because you don't have to manually type in the device ID. If you don't get that choice of auto and the only choice is manual, then you're just going to have to type the 13-digit device ID, which is located on the top of both devices, both the Fit and the APAC have it on top. It's a 13-digit long. It's on a sticker on the top of the top panel. Type that in and then hit the OK or continue button. And then it's going to ask you to push a button on the zControl device. The purpose of pushing the button is that you're going to confirm to the cloud that you in fact own that device. As soon as you push the button, something will change on your screen and you'll be able to move on from there. So after a couple seconds, as long as that goes well, the device will show up as like a square tile into your account. And right in the middle of that square tile is a view button. That's how you open the device and view all your settings. You can change settings. You can push buttons to test a pump or silence an alarm. You can make your selections about how to be notified via email, text, and push notification. On the Aquanaut Fit, you can change a self-test schedule, for example. So that's how you would access all that information. Okay, now we're going to do this live. All right, you're just seeing the Aquanaut Fit there in the background. Here's an APAC. And here is my iPad. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this down. These 2 devices, the APAC and the Fit, they're both connected right now to the Wi-Fi. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to reset the Wi-Fi on this unit. And this is a good practice to know. Sometimes if you typed in the password wrong, or if you changed routers and the router has a new password, you're going to need to know how to reset the Wi-Fi credentials. To reset the Wi-Fi credentials on the M.P.A, you remove power, and you want to wait until all the lights are off. That can take a minute for the Z Control LED to go out. All right, and eventually the LED goes out. That does take longer if there's batteries in the unit, which there are batteries in this unit. If there are no batteries in the unit, the Z Control LED will go out much sooner. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hold the button in and reapply power, and then hold, I'm covering up the speaker. We're going to hold it for about 5 seconds till you get to about this point, and then you let go. All right, so now the LED being off, it is broadcasting its network name, and this is where you can see it listed on right there, Z Control APAC YLLT, and if you notice, that is the first 4 digits of the device ID, so we know we're talking about the right one. So I'm going to select that from my Wi-Fi list, and the LED on the APAC is blinking, and I have my capture screen here. There's no routers to connect to listed, so I'm going to tell this little app to scan around and look for Wi-Fi to connect to. So there's some Wi-Fi down below I can connect to. I'm going to choose the one I want, and I'm going to type the password. All right, I've typed it. The LED here will blink for a little bit, and then when it reconnects to the cloud, or to the router and to the cloud, it'll go solid. And that can take 30 seconds or more. And then notice that it is not broadcasting anymore, so it's gone from my list of Wi-Fi that's available to connect to. While that's getting sorted out and reconnecting, on the Aquanaut Fit, the way to reset the Wi-Fi credentials is to use a pen and press the little button that's in there and hold it for about 10, maybe 15 seconds, and you'll see everything blink, go off, blink back on, and now it's on. So now you notice that the LED on the Fit is off, and it's broadcasting its SSID, and this has worked out its reconnection to the router and the cloud, so we're good here. Now we're going to go back. We want to reconnect this to the cloud. So since the LED is off, it's broadcasting its SSID. When you look on your network list for your Wi-Fi, it's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and touch that, and the captive screen will pop up just like before, just like the APAC. I'm going to scan for Wi-Fi. It's going to list the Wi-Fi routers that are available down here. And I'm going to select the one I want and then type in the passphrase. And then I'm going to hit connect. And you get this quick little error right there. You may not have caught it, but it says error opening page. And the reason it has that error is because your iPad was connected to the device, the Z Control device, and when you say connect to the router, your iPad actually loses connection to the device. So the iPad's just giving you a warning message that you lost your connection. But typically what will happen is, like my iPad will just go establish itself to the Wi-Fi router it was previously connected to. Okay, so that's how you reset and connect the Wi-Fi on both of these units. All right, we're going to go to the cloud. So this is the cloud, the account that I want to add these two devices to. And you notice, so I've logged into my account. This would be step 2, logging into the account or creating your account. This is a demo account. And this is that edit button that we talked about, add new device. Now you can see on my computer here, I have the opportunity to do auto because I'm on the same network. So I'm going to go ahead and do that rather than type in device IDs. I'm going to push a button on the APAC to confirm it. And I'm going to push a button on the fit to confirm it. All right. Now the fit, as you notice right here, here's the what we call the tile or the square tile, and that's the view button I had mentioned. When you open the view button, you get all your tabs and your information for your product. So you can have on an Aquanaut Fit, which if you're not familiar is a battery backup system. There are voltages, there's counts of switches, there's pump runtime. So you have data here, and notice right here at the top in this blue bar, you'll see that it updates every 30 seconds. That's the heartbeat that comes into the cloud every 30 seconds from every device. The reason, or the way you know that it's doing that, by the way, is the Z Control LED will flicker every 30 seconds. And that's just its communication into the cloud. The next tab is the alert history. You can see all the different events that get recorded to the cloud. Device settings is the next screen. I'm going to skip and come back to that. On the alert settings page, you have the alerts that can be generated from whatever the particular device is. So an Aquanaut Fit can generate this list of alarms. So this whole list are unique to the Fit. And then you can choose whether or not you want to receive those notifications via email, text, and push notification. Push notification is simply the alert or the little pop-ups you get from a web app, or excuse me, from a mobile app. So you can turn all those things on and off. Now, how are you going to get an email? Well, when you create your account, the email you use to create the account is a default contact that we use to notify. But you can add more contacts by going to the hamburger menu up here and then selecting Manage Contacts. And you can add email addresses and phone numbers here. So email addresses, phone numbers here, that's how you get the text. Each time you add a contact, you have to verify that you do in fact own that address. And you notice I put a fake mobile number in here and it says unverified. So if it was my actual phone number, I would have gotten a text and I would have had a place on this screen to put in a validation code. So once you've added contacts and verified those, you can now receive text, email, and push. So going back to the device settings page, since this is a battery backup system and it sits dormant, we have the ability to self-test. So this is a self-test schedule. The controller will turn the pump on. So that's all adjustable right here. You can say how often, what time of day, and you save those settings. And then there's some other settings on this particular product that you can change as well. You can name the device. That goes right here in this field. You can change which location. If you have multiple locations in your account, you can change which location it's assigned to. All right. You notice on the top here, you've got, if something is in alarm, you've got a silence button. So you can silence it remotely. I can run the pump remotely, and I can reset alarms remotely. Okay, getting back to the PowerPoint. These are examples of the devices that do require a gateway. Gateway is needed for an Aquanaut Active, a VFD, an LPS control panel, and there's other panels and alarms that are coming in the near future. You can also use a gateway to monitor the dry contacts on any device. So if you've got an old control panel that has a set of auxiliary output, otherwise known as dry contacts, you can take 2-conductor wire and connect it to that output, connect it to the other end to the input on the gateway or on an APAC, and monitor those contacts. So on the gateway, you have to follow different steps. Number one, on the left side of the gateway, you have a jack for a Cat5 cable. That's the jack that goes back to the device. So you've got a Cat5 cable between the left side of the gateway and then back to the, let's say, the Aquanaut Active or the LPS panel or VFD. Once you connect that, you have to pair the two devices so that the gateway knows about the device it's connected to. You push the link button on the gateway, and then you push the silence button on the Z-Control device. And that will pair the two. Both lights come on solid, you know it went well. Now you have to connect the gateway to your router. So you're going to do that one of two ways. You're going to take a Cat5 cable, plug it into the right side of the gateway. That's an Ethernet jack. It's a little bit different from the one on the left side. Physically, it's the same. Internally, it's different. And you're going to take that Cat5 cable and plug it into an available port on the router. Or if it's not going to be a Cat5 wired connection, then you're going to use the Wi-Fi that's built into the gateway. Those directions, it's a little bit different than the Wi-Fi setup we just did on the FIT and the APAC, but plugging in the Cat5 is the simplest way to do it, because as soon as you get it plugged into a router, the router will assign it an IP address and the gateway starts communicating with zcontrolcloud.com almost immediately. So once your device is connected to the cloud, you have that solid Z-Control LED. You're going to follow the same steps from earlier from the other device to create an account and add a new device. That part of the process is identical. Now, when you have an account with several items in the account, this could be what it looks like. The left side is the web page. You can see two different locations there. One is called Fisherville House. One is called Product Support. Those are just two location names. Those are editable by clicking the edit button next to them. And then you can see one location has 4 devices and the other has 3. On the right-hand side, that's a screenshot from the mobile app. And you'll notice that it has the same 3 devices that the product support location on the left has. So 2 ways to use the cloud. Okay, quick poll. Did this explanation of connecting a device give you enough confidence to connect a Z-Control device? Real simple, yes or no. And by the way, if you do answer no, send us a question and maybe there's something we can review. Okay, we're going to close that down. Thank you for replying. And we're going to go right into another poll. A little quiz question. Which of the following must be true before a device can be added to your account? You must have a Z-Control Cloud account. You must own a Z-Control device. Your device must have a solid Z-Control LED. All 3 of the above must be true. 1 and 3 must be true. Might have to think about this one just for a second. So All right. Most of you did say all three of the above must be true. It's a trick question, but it helps me lead into the next slide. So actually, it's number 5. 1 and 3 must be true. Number 2 doesn't have to be true because you could have an account and not own a Z-Control device. It's been shared with you. All right, that wasn't nice. But here's what sharing means. But basically, device sharing, one of the common questions from a contractor or even a homeowner is, well, hey, can I share this with my plumber? Or can I put my plumber on my account? Can I put his email on my account so he gets the notifications as well? And the answer is yes, you can do that. And you can do that the way we talked about earlier, where you go to the hamburger menu and go to manage contacts and then add somebody there. But if you do it that way, there's two maybe negatives about doing it that way. One is that new contact, let's say your plumber, they're going to get all those notifications the same way your preferences are for your account. So if I'm a homeowner, then my plumber is going to get all the same notifications the way I want them. Second, if the person I'm sharing it with, if I have this expectation they're going to log in to my account, maybe to silence something or test a pump or whatever, I'm going to have to give them my Z-Control Cloud account credentials, and I may not want to do that. So instead, you share your device, and it's a little bit hidden where to do that. It will become a much more obvious button here in the near future, but it's on the device settings page, and there's a little gear there. We'll do it live on the video later if anybody wants to see it. But you're basically going to go through the process of device sharing and then putting an email address in there, like the screenshot on this page. You put that email address and you send invite. And then the recipient is going to get an email from Z-Control Cloud that says, hey, Jeff wants to share his Aquanaut Fit with you. Do you want to put that in your account? And if he says yes, then it pops up into his account. If he doesn't have an account, it'll provide a link to start creating an account and then add that device to it. So now he can log into his own account, set up his own preferences for how he's getting notified. It's a cleaner way to do it. And as the user or as the owner, if that guy is no longer my plumber, I can delete sharing with that person anytime I want. If you think about this sharing function from the standpoint of a contractor or a property manager, there's a lot of opportunity to manage multiple properties and devices in multiple locations. You might have a different set of superintendents that needs to get notified for products from one building versus another. So you can kind of see how that all works out pretty well, and it's real simple. And if you weren't in the first webinar, you may not realize that this is all free. Zoeller does not charge for any of these services. If you buy Zoeller Z-Control enabled products, it's baked in, and your cloud account is free, and all these services are free. There may be services in the future that have a fee associated with them, but we don't have those available at this time. So everything we've talked about is no cost. All right, so here's a couple frequently asked questions. There's a difference between resetting a device settings, the default settings of a device, versus resetting just the Wi-Fi credentials. So this little list here goes through what the differences are. Just real quick on a Aquanaut Fit, for example, if all you want to do is reset the Wi-Fi credentials, you put the pen up, there's a small hole that accesses a button between where the two switches plug into the controller, and you push your pen onto that button, you can kind of feel a soft click, and you hold that for 10 or 15 seconds until the lights go out and then the alarm beeps. That's just resetting the Wi-Fi creds. If you want to reset the whole device back to default settings like it came out of the factory, you would hold the silence and test buttons together for a little over 5 seconds, and that will reset to factory defaults. So you can read the other ones. Fit has a slightly different process, and the Gateway has a slightly different process. The mobile app, the existing mobile app, if you go to the iOS or Google Play Store, that is what I would call a view, test, and silence only app. Don't try to use the app for setting things up on the cloud. Don't try using it for creating an account or adding a device to your account. None of those things you can do with the app. That's after you're all done, then you use the app. However, the new app is coming, and all the features of the website will be included in the mobile app. I can't give you a date yet, but watch for that. It is coming soon. Another frequently asked question is, again, the 2.4 gigahertz network has to be broadcast by the router. So if it's a dual band and you don't see anything, it's probably only broadcasting it as a 5 gigahertz. That's a feature that you would have to log into the router itself. You know, not every homeowner knows how to do that, but it's usually pretty simple to do. But that's not necessarily something we are going to provide support on because there's hundreds of different routers. But they changed that to dual band so that it does broadcast in 2.4. They make sure that it's not open or web. If they still don't see it after knowing both of those things or all those things are true, then there's probably some rule, a security rule or an administrative setting or restriction that somebody has put on that Wi-Fi. And again, that's not really something our product support's going to be able to troubleshoot with them. You know, we'll give it a shot and we'll get to a certain point where we just can't really go any further. And then just the last FAQ, if during the account creation process you get stuck, almost always if you log out, close your browser, reopen the browser, log back in, you'll get back to where you were. And the reason I'm bringing this up is sometimes I've walked away and my screen has gone into timeout, and that kind of, our cloud, our server, it logs people out basically. It boots the page out and you cannot continue from that point. So that's why you'd log out, close your browser and log back in. So those are some of the FAQ. A couple different things that were asked. Hopefully you can see, yeah, it's a little blurry, I apologize. So that reset for the Wi-Fi creds is under here. And you would hold that in for about 10 seconds, and then that light will go out, these lights will blink, and the alarm will come on. For the default settings, to go back to factory default settings, you would hold both these buttons for, it says 5 seconds on the cord label. It says 5 seconds right here. The way I count, it's 6, so wait until you get the feedback that it's resetting. And then that'll put it back to factory defaults. If while we're talking, you know what I'll do is I'll set this up here. It's the APAC, sorry about it sideways, but you can see when the LEDs flicker how it's talking to the cloud. Now the next thing, somebody else asked a question, are we coming out with a product that doesn't require a router? And that's a great question, because sometimes these products may end up, especially in the example of like a control panel or maybe an alarm, these are going to end up out in the field, like literally in a field, and you're not going to have any sort of internet service like a router-based service out in the field. But if you have cellular, then you can use a gateway. And the way you would do that, you'd have to buy this gateway. You'd have to go to your cellular provider and buy what's called a cellular to Ethernet adapter. And that would basically get plugged in to that same jack right here. That's the the right side of the gateway. And you would plug in the jack right there. Most of the cellular to Ethernet adapters just plug right in. It's got a little, it plugs in, and then there's like an antenna. So that device would be purchased from, let's say, Verizon or AT&T or whatever the cellular provider is in that area, and maybe it's $100 or $200, and then you would pay a monthly fee for service, just like you would a cellular phone or a hotspot. So that's one of the design and one of the reasons for the Z-Control Cloud Gateway. And then the devices would be connected via Cat5 through the other side. There is a jack there. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. I want to point out one thing. We do have a new, we're going to talk about this later today. You'll probably get an email blast, but there is a new sales sheet on the Aquanaut Fit. So this was just released today. FM 3097 has kind of a sales sheet looking front, and then the back side has some kind of more tech data type information. Okay. All right. This concludes our webinar. Please remember, if you have any questions regarding this webinar after we sign off for the day, you can always email those to webinars@zoeller.com and we will get back to you. Thank you very much.